Whether you're just starting out in watercolor or you've been painting for a while and you feel your portraits look too stiff, too flat, and are just kind of missing the mark, don't worry, we've all been there. Today I want to share some advice with you, not only to approach your art making in a more natural and impulsive way, but also how to get rid of the fear of messing up. This will help you feel a stronger connection with what you create, but also to get much better results. Getting a good, well-proportioned sketch down as a foundation for your watercolor painting is extremely important. If you get something off, like the symmetry of the eyes, the shape of the face sometimes can be really difficult to nail, then there's nothing you can do about it afterwards to fix it. So that is a very important step. I would say step number one. And also, I never really have a problem with graphite. People ask me, doesn't the graphite show through? Isn't it annoying when you can see the pencil lines? I don't usually see the pencil lines, but if it's a problem for you, maybe you paint in less layers than me, then use one of these kneaded erasers. This is just a little bit of one, and you can easily kind of erase the sketch or make it lighter. Let's say not erase the sketch completely, you wouldn't want that, but make it lighter just by rolling the eraser gently over the surface of your paper. Or you could use another rubber if you don't have it, but I would avoid using this kind of rubber because it's too hard and it will damage the surface of your paper. So either try to draw really lightly, have a really light pencil stroke, or try to grab one of these kneaded erasers. When you're adding extra elements to the sketch, like flowers, hold your pencil further back and not close to the tip. This will allow for these areas that need less precision in the drawing phase to immediately appear more natural and less stiff. Though this might feel uncomfortable in the beginning, that's exactly what you want, to push yourself out of that comfort zone and open your process up to new possibilities. A good balance between a tighter sketch where you need it and a looser one is a great starting point because it creates variety and interest. A lot of people think that it's important to paint on an easel or on a tilt only when you're painting with oils or acrylics, but actually it's really important to have a slight tilt, at least a slight tilt also in watercolor. So even just placing something like, for example, this small box of paints behind your block of paper will really help, because that will help the paint flow downwards and will offer a more even wash and will allow you to soap up any puddles. It will also allow you to go more expressive and get those drips more naturally, and paint will tend to flow downwards. So make sure you remember that. It is really important. Paint on a slight tilt. An easy way to break the ice is you don't have to start off covering the whole area with one wash and then building layer upon layer. You can start in one area of the face, for example, in the portrait, and then start bouncing around different areas of the piece. I like starting with the eyes in general because they are usually the focal point of a portrait. And my go-to colors are usually a red and a blue. In this case, Indian red and cerulean blue. And I start from the eyes and I start concentrating around the eye area. That really gets me into the groove of painting because I get excited about the painting process because I love painting eyes. So if you love painting eyes, for example, that is a good idea. And I will start wet and wet, allowing the two colors to blend and mix together. I also tend to like working with a kind of limited palette, which means I don't use that many colors. And that allows me to really work more freely because I know that I can mix the colors in my palette among each other, with each other, because I will end up getting something that belongs to the same family of colors. I'm sure I've said this in past videos, and even what we call mud will still end up looking transparent, will still end up working well and shining in our watercolor painting. Step 4. Learning to be fearless with our brush strokes is very hard, but fear of loading our brush, fear of being more intentional with our brush strokes, it's very often the silent killer of our art, in the sense that we rarely see that that's where the problem lies. In this portrait though, as you can see, I started off hesitantly and with a small brush. My aim was to not go back and forth over the same areas and fuss over them too much, almost erasing the initial brush lines. Lay the paint once and try and leave it. You will see me getting more daring, especially midway through this painting. Brushstrokes, if we allow them to be and hold their unique personality, are what will truly bring our portraits to life. Once you've got the foundation for the eyes down, this doesn't mean the eyes are finished. You can go in with more details, of course. You can start moving around other areas of the portrait, and I would advise using the same colors. For example, starting off in the lip area or in some of the shadow area, maybe with the cerulean blue or with the Indian red. Another piece of advice is to always keep your water clean and to always have some kitchen paper right next to you. You have to use this to clean your brush off, get rid of excess water when you don't need it, and wipe off some paint sometimes as well. So it's really important to always have a rag or some kitchen paper right next to your painting surface. Mind me not, I'm just testing this little brush I got. It's actually a watercolor brush, and I'm going to use it to kind of spread out some of the colors that I laid down around the eyes into the rest of the face, just to kind of get rid of the white of the paper and start getting a bit of a skin tone there. It's hardly visible, as you can see, but the white of the paper is slightly less harsh as I move the edges of the areas where I laid that paint down towards the forehead and the cheeks and the nose. A larger brush can help you shape in some of the shadow areas. This is shedding some bristles, as you can see. It's very important for you to change your brushes, not change the kind of brushes that you use. I always advise familiarizing yourself with your brushes so that you know them, but changing the size of them. As you can see, I started off with a small brush. I think it's a number 0, and yeah, the numbers are rubbed off, so I'm not quite sure, but it's a very small brush, as you can see. And I work with small brushes in small areas, and then when I need to tackle larger areas, I will move on to larger brushes. This seems like very obvious advice, but while you're so engrossed in the painting process, sometimes you tend to forget these things, and not only do you make your life harder, but you definitely get in the way of creating a painting that you will probably end up liking more if you follow this advice. Tackling larger shadow areas with brushes like this, which are larger and have a more squared off geometric shape, is definitely going to be useful because you're going to get that shadow in all in one go. And also very often shadows do tend to have a geometric shape. Sometimes they are more rounded, but it's harder to get shadows in with round brushes. At least that is my own personal experience, as everything that I share on this channel. I'll show you what I mean now. I'm I'm still using the same two colors I started off with cerulean blue and Indian red, and then kind of mixing them together. And there's kind of a large shadow area over here. And for me, it's easier to just go in and tackle it with this brush, or with this brush that's disappointingly enough shedding a little hair. But it's a really nice shape actually, so I'm super disappointed by that. But I can just block in the shadows all in one go, and it's not streaky at all. So a really good brush. Maybe it will stop shedding hairs, maybe it's just because it's new. And as always, if you like what you see here, you can get so much more of it by joining our international art community over on Patreon with live and recorded painting sessions, tutorials and behind the scenes. It's really a safe haven for both shy and more outgoing artists. I will leave the link to find us in the description box below this video. We can't wait to welcome you. Last step, don't be afraid to pick up more pigment heavy mixes that contain more paint and a little bit less water. Mixes that are too watery look tentative and at times dull. They lack the gloss and true voice of watercolor. It's okay to alternate between the two, that's good actually, but not to shy away from using washes in a more powerful manner. Ones that will stick to the paper the moment you lay them down, like I end up doing with the flower in this portrait. This has been a hard one for me, and I'm still working on it because I need to become more brave. But when I do use this method, the joy and the satisfaction are so rewarding that I definitely know this is going to be the way forward for me in my watercolor journey. I do hope these tips were useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any of your own to add to these. That would be great. It will surely help out everyone who is watching. Speaking of which, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I will see you all next Sunday. Have a wonderful week. Bye for now.